All right, y'all. What's up? And welcome to another special edition of Epic Nerd Time. And yes, we are here with a lesser-known comics illustrator and the man behind Deathwish, which I'm getting real itchy to see, Mr. Kieran Quinn. How are you, my man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing good. It's another wonderful day down here in the Ozarks. Um, Congratulations on meeting the goal, man. That's awesome. You got to be
Oh,
stoked about that.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. It always feels good when it happens pretty quick, you know? Like
Yes.
it's not a huge goal, but it's like where we want to be, and like it's great to see the support come through.
Yeah, I think just smashing your goals regardless is the good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, let's go backwards a little bit. How did all this begin? And where did your love of comic books start?
Oh, well, I've been reading comic books my entire life. Um I've always been like a huge X-Men fan and Green Lantern, Green Arrow fan. Um I mean, as a kid growing up watching uh like the original X-Men cartoon show and all that stuff, it really, I loved all that. Um so uh as I got older, I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be part of this community. I want to draw, I want to do the art. Uh I It took me a long time to like even like really get to work on comics and stuff, but it's like been a really great journey, like just learning and figuring it all out over the years.
Now,
So,
is this something school might have taught you, or are you just a self-taught person?
well, I went to school for art, but not specifically like illustration or anything. Um when I went to school, well, all right, let me start from like high school and stuff. I was never a great student, but people were always like, you should do art, whatever. I was like, I've never even taken an art class, like, not unless it was like required for junior high or whatever. So, my senior year, I started doing, uh, I took an art class and it was like the freshman class. So, I was like, okay, yeah, I enjoy this and I'm pretty good at it. And I would do like other people's homework and that kind of thing. And it was a lot of fun. And I mean, I've always drawn like on the, in the margins of every book and like all over my homework and whatever. Um, so when I went to college, my advisor was like, what would you like to do? And I said, I don't know, but people tell me I'm good at this. So like, let's try it. So when I went to college, it was like, oh, let's try every single kind of art there is: photography, uh, 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 illustration, obviously, painting, pottery, whatever. Anything I could get my hands
Yeah.
on, I wanted to try it. So, but like comics was always like in the back of my mind. Oh, I want to do that. I want to work on that. It's always been something like I've just enjoyed drawing the like sequential art. I've enjoyed drawing characters in cool poses and stuff like that, but always like for a reason, like I wanted to tell a story. Not that I'm any good at writing a story. I just enjoy drawing the story. So when I was away in college, I had like friends handing me like scripts and different things like that saying, hey, try this out, just like let's see what we can do. And I mean, none of it really went anywhere, but it was always just like good practice, good like uh like good way to learn how to like tell this story. So yeah, I mean, over the years it's just been kind of like draw the same comic 90,000 times, like, oh, create my own little characters and do 6 pages and tell their little story, and then put it aside and come back to it and say, oh, I like this, but I want to change it. And so I have, like
It's almost like a constant rough draft.
yeah, and never to be seen by anyone but myself,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it's like a guitar player. I'm a guitar player, so it's like the noodles and the stupid licks you might come up with at home are definitely not something you're going to play out in front of people.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like the scribbles and sketches that uh, every artist, I feel like, has just sketchbooks filled with, like, not even stuff that people are interested in seeing, but it like it builds your style, it builds your like little universe and stuff.
Yes, I love it. So, like, some of these earlier inspirations, like, I guess I'm gonna get direct to it. Like, you said you really liked '90s X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Like, we covered some of the figures from the early line in our first show, and we've been doing watch-alongs of the first season of X-Men. So, I gotta
Oh, that's
ask.
awesome.
I gotta ask, what's your favorite? Who's your favorite X-Men from that era?
Gambit.
Same as Mark. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I mean, he was always just like so suave and cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's awesome. He was too. He's awesome.
yeah. Plus, it was like it's not the greatest power. It's not like a healing factor or whatever. Like every time I see Wolverine, I'm like, okay, it's Wolverine. He's cool, but he's like overrated almost, and we don't always get uh like a really great version of, you don't always see Gambit. He's kind of like one of these background characters.
It's
I mean,
just,
except for in that show, and he
yeah,
got to shine.
it's weird about Gambit in a way that, like, the Gambit and Rogue love story. I mean, I was like 6 or 7. It was one of the first times of really like, this is what love is beside your parents.
Yeah,
it,
for
it was
sure.
really crazy because it's like, you get into it because you like these guys. You're invested. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
I mean, I mean, even with them, it's like they have accents. They're like, oh, it's not that they're foreign, but they're, it's like, oh, this is totally different. It's
Yeah.
you know,
That
that's
French
awesome.
Canadian Southern twang thing, man, you could tell that they were like going to be drawn together.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
But not to get too deep down in the X-Men rabbit hole because we could go down that one for days.
Oh yeah, for
How
sure.
did you get involved with Lesser Known?
So when I first started with Lesser Known, I was with uh I was introduced to now one of my friends through a mutual friend, and he handed me a script and said, I like what you do, let's see what you can do with this. And that is called Condry. This was a comic that we were putting out with Lesser Known.
Awesome.
So it's now being put out by Legacy Comics. It's a separate group that my writer wanted to take it in a new direction. So basically, we just picked it up and shifted. So when we started, Mark was really interested in like whatever this story was, and wanted to see, or like wanted to bring us on as like a new group, because everything so far at the time was like all his storyline, all his creation. So he didn't even have like what we have now, where it's more creators coming in and publishing with him and all that thing. So we had just kind of already done this book, and um, just as like a preview, it's like 6 pages. And Mark was like, I love it. I want to see what else you can do. I want you guys to come in and join the team and get involved. So that's really where we started on that, I guess.
And how long ago was that?
I drew that in 2019. He picked us up at the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic started, I feel. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, pandemic? Oh, we might as well do comics.
Yeah.
Like I'm trapped in my room anyway. Like that's work. Yeah. So.
But guys, speaking of lesser known, Epic Nerd Time and everything we do under the umbrella of Epic Nerd Time is brought to you by Lesser Known Comics. Use code EpicNerd15 at checkout and save yourself some dollars. Now I want to get into Deathwish a little bit, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Without spoiling it, can you give us a story rundown? Like, like what you would see like on the TV guide and the info button. Like, can you give us something like that?
Yeah. Tune into Deathwish.
That's awesome. Yes.
It's a racing. It's like a demolition derby racing comic. That's a mix of Speed Racer and Mad Max and that kind of thing. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's a lot of fun. It's over the top, and it doesn't need to make sense.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
So I think that's how I usually describe it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
How long is Deathwish? Is it another 6-pager or is there a little more here?
This is, wait, let me see. I think this 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the mini comic is here, I'll hold it up.
That's so cool.
The mini comic is 6 pages.
Okay.
Just to give you
the wraparound cover.
Yeah.
Dude.
Just to give you a little
taste. Just like that.
And we have poster. We actually have that printed as like a poster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't have them out. I don't have them out right now. What was I saying?
A little bit of a rundown on Deathwish.
Oh yeah. So I lost
Talk to me about the main character.
So there's basically 3 main characters in this. One is Mark's character, Danny. She's like the character that basically is throughout all the lesser known comics.
Okay.
So like with his universe, like this is a character that has like lived for a couple hundred years, and she's seemingly not invincible, but she just has like, she's forever young kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in our series, it's kind of like, well, she's like a witch or something, if I'm getting this correctly. She's so in this story, it's kind of like late 60s, early 70s time period. So she's already like had enough of being alive for a really long time. And she's kind of like, I don't want to even practice witchcraft. I just want to like do something fun and something different and see what kind of trouble I can get myself into. So she's the main character. And then we have then we have Regina, and she eventually will be known as Smashley. Uh, and she drives like a big truck. And then um,
Are they all driving something?
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
all these characters get to drive really awesome cars.
Rad cars, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dagger drives like he's like all American, you know.
I'm sorry, that's just the perfect name, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that the whole storyline of how he got his name is
Is it
a
in the
lot of
book?
not yet. Well,
Okay.
it will be, but
Okay.
I
Sweet.
yeah, the first book the first book doesn't have too much because it is just kind of like it's a little preview, just
It's a taste test, yo. It's what you get at Baskin Robbins for free, but in a
yeah,
6-page little mini series.
yeah, it's a toe dipped in the pool, you know, checking the temperature.
Yes.
Well, part of it is we want to make sure that people want stories like this.
Mhm.
So when Mark and I had originally talked about it, I mean, we just got on the phone and we were spitballing ideas. And I mean, he had already had this kind of planned out, and he liked the way I do my art, where I don't like to really use panels. I like to keep like a whole flow. And he was like, this would be great. I want to see like how you can incorporate like these characters kind of like swimming through each other. Um, so yeah, so when he came up with this idea and we were spitballing it, everything was just kind of you can't go too far. You can't go more over the top because everything is you know, just raise the bar every time.
Yeah.
So he came up with this monkey. Let's see if I can get him. This monkey.
Oh, rad.
He's a Russian like astronaut. And it's because of like the time period. It's USSR. He's got like a rocket strapped to the top of his car so he can light it up, and
he's a cosmonaut. That's awesome.
Yeah. But he only speaks in Russian, so unless you know how to read Russian, you're not going to understand what he's saying.
You don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. So, and we have a guy on the team that knows Russian, so he gives us the right kind of words and everything. So
yeah, at least you're not saying the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to offend. Well, or maybe we do.
But now you kind of answered this question a little bit. You said you're not skilled in the writing part, but are you the only one doing the illustration and coloring here, or is there somebody else coloring at all?
No, I do everything. So
Awesome.
Well, I don't write. Oh, okay. Okay, wait, hold on. Mark writes, but his scripts are so far. The script for this was like super limited. For the next books, for issue 2 and 3, it's like him and another writer to like really kind of build the story.
Yeah.
So but his script is very like open-ended. It's just kind of like he wants to see it's a little bit of dialogue and then playtime, and then a little bit of dialogue and then playtime. So it's I want to start here, and then you can fill it in with however many pages you want, but it has to end here. You know, like I get to fill in the rest, which I guess is me writing a story, but really it's just kind of drawing cars racing and adding, people throw in.
But you can actually visually tell it. So, I mean, yes, you're a storyteller, but you don't tell it with the words. Like, You can write sequential art and tell a story, hence why it's called sequential art.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just like, I guess I don't consider myself a writer.
Gotcha.
More like well, I don't know what the right, I don't know what I would call myself. Just, yeah, a sequential artist, an illustrator, a storyboarder.
Now
Yeah.
let me ask you this. I seen something on Instagram, I believe. Are you primarily a traditional style in your artwork, or are you dabbling with digital just because of it being 2022 now?
I am a terrible digital artist. Everything I do is, well, almost everything I do. Here's a page.
That's
Is
awesome.
Yeah, almost everything I do is hard copy. Like, I physically get down and dirty. All the coloring is watercolor. So
Okay.
I get my brush out, get my paints out, and fill it in.
Can I ask you this? How do you take that kind of art and make it digital? Is it just like scanning?
Yeah, you just kind of scan it in. I have like I don't have a scanner, but at my other job I do. So I go and I scan everything in, and then if I need to make photocopies or something, I can do that, because I can copy to like watercolor paper, and then that way I have my original inks, and then I have the watercolor paper. Wait, hold on. And let me see. Do I have it? Oh yeah, right here. So here's colored page.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is that from book 1?
Yeah, so this is from book 1.
Okay.
So like, yeah, as you can see, you have some characters with a rocket launcher, and
That's so cool.
you got your main character Danny and Dagger and your monkey and like little Easter eggs and things.
That's so cool.
So yeah, everything can be done traditionally, which is the only way I'm really good at working. I have a Cintiq thing. My computers are all touch screen. I have all the pens and stuff to do it, but it just doesn't, unless there's like ink on my fingers and paint under my nails. It's just not the same.
You're
It's not
old
art.
school, man. You're an old school kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, this cover is digital. I did digitally paint this. So, but I have this here. Look at that. This is the original.
Wow.
So I did this with just ink on the page. Then I scanned that, and then I digitally painted it. And when I do a page like this with watercolor, it takes me like half hour, 45 minutes. When I do this, this took me like a week. I'm like, I don't know. I can't. I honestly can't. Like, it's just so much simpler to like just grab the paints and just do it.
Just run with it.
Yeah, I don't I don't know. The computer, maybe I just have to do it more, but in general, it just takes longer. And there's a lot of artists out there, and I give them all the credit. And I'm like, hey, do it however you want to do it. But like, this is the way I know, and it's easier and it's faster, and like the results are not the same, but they're like the style that I like to see.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
I gotta ask. You said you take this to your normal job. Do you have a day job?
I do. I have I work for a contracting company, and we deliver and install office furniture.
Hey, I'm a commercial cleaner. I own my own company and clean doctors' offices. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so it's kind of that's awesome. I had day job warriors, man. Day job
Yeah,
warriors unite.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
kind of no,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I've been working for my contracting company for 11 years now, and I live here in New York City. I live in Brooklyn. Um, I worked when I moved to the city. I was like, oh, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to be a comic book guy. DC Comics is right here in Manhattan and all that stuff. And what I found out was, oh, it's really hard. You don't make any money. So that's why I ended up doing I picked up, contracting. I started that job just being like a guy who pushes boxes. And then one day I said, I can build this, and they were like, okay. So then I was a project manager, and now I work at the warehouse, and I'm an asset manager, and I do all this other stuff. So it's that can pay the bills while, I put all my heart and love into doing what I want to do.
So they're well, we gotta ask, they're cool with you using the scanner?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's I'm not wasting their money. But they're all like super supportive. They
That's
want to see me
awesome.
succeed. My boss, when I saw my boss yesterday, he was like, hey, if you want to do a pop-up, like let's do a pop-up down in Manhattan. I'll pay for the booth, and you just bring your art. And I'm like, okay,
Okay,
all right.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
The
so
support like that is so cool.
yeah.
You hinted on this a little bit earlier, but I guess we'll just get it confirmed. Will there be a Deathwish 2?
Yes, there definitely will be.
Now, will it be in mini comic form, or will these next few be a little longer?
No, the next few are full 24-page comics.
Awesome.
Yeah. They do take longer, obviously, because it's 18 extra pages or whatever. But yeah, we definitely have more coming. So
this is kind of, I don't know, probably an ignorant question. How long does it take you to whip out a 6-page book?
uh well, not too long, but not too short.
Not does it take as long as digitally creating that cover?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I can do all 6 pages in the time it took me to paint this online.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
That's cool.
maybe a week. If as long as I have my time to work.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Usually day one is just kind of doing like a mini book like this.
Okay.
Where I just kind of sketch out, like scribble out each page.
Oh, okay.
And I say, okay, this is my layout, and then I roughly follow it while I do full page pencils or whatever. And usually my pencils are like just as scribbled out as as this. Like, okay, this took me 10 seconds to scribble, so then when I do it bigger, it's it's a scribble on the page, and then I immediately go to ink. I don't have pencils other than what's like layered behind all the ink on here.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I would scan that. So I think the slowest part of it is scanning this and getting to work on that.
Okay.
Like it just, if I scan it at work, I have to wait until I'm at work to scan it.
Yeah, it
So,
definitely seems like a totally different beast going from the inking to the coloring.
oh yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, color, like I said, color is quick. Inking is like the longest part because I want to make sure everything's right. But because I know that I'm going to scan it, I can put down, as much white out as I want to fix my lines if need be.
Yeah.
But I think there's also something really nice about like drawing a line on a piece of paper and then not really being able to fix it. Like there's an organicness to it, which I really like. And I don't have that, like, the the same organic feeling that you get when I do ink. It's the same issue with the color. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
once it's down, it's down.
Yeah.
There's not really much of correcting those mistakes. I mean, I could make as many copies of this as I wanted if I really screwed it up, which is a good thing. But in general, it's like, no, just make one copy and get the color down. I'm pretty confident. I'm I'm usually pretty confident, which is good. But sometimes I'm like, oh, that should have been a different color. I I do have enough skill with the Photoshop or whatever to like. I mean, I guess I could go in and rechange colors or whatever, but I mean, sometimes you have to if you're like once I've scanned. Like if I've done purple, a lot of times it comes out gray, so I have to like color correct. I mean, that's usually just like messing with the.
It's probably because like the scanner is not calibrated to the color of what you're putting out or whatever.
Right, right. So if when I have my own scanner, I can make those corrections beforehand and not have to
Yes.
worry.
Yes.
But it's a work. I walk into work, everyone gets to look at my art. Ooh, ooh, what's this all
Ooh.
about? Okay, well, like you can wait. Buy a copy.
Exactly. Well, hey, I noticed on an Instagram deal that post that you look an awful lot like Dagger. Is this on purpose? Is this on purpose?
um, it's not on purpose. I think uh people are always like, every time you draw women, they look like your fiance, and every time you draw men, they look like you. And I'm like, that's just subconscious.
Okay.
I didn't try. That's just kind of how it works. Yeah. Let's see. Uh, wait, hold on.
We're gonna recreate the.
Let's see if I can.
I did it.
Uh, yes.
Somewhere in another life, you are Dagger for sure.
Yeah.
Was creating Deathwish a challenge for you?
Um, certainly. I have never been. I've always liked cars. I'm not a car guy. I've never owned a car. Um, so drawing cars was foreign to me. Drawing characters and goofy stuff comes pretty naturally. Uh, Inventing my own, weapons or flamethrowers or whatever is always fun to do. Um, and that's kind of like what my sketchbooks are kind of filled up with, like goofy stuff. But cars was never something that I really drew a lot of. So it's it's the cars get better and better as I draw them. Like the
Yeah.
next issue, they'll be like everything is a process. So the next issue it'll be like, oh, that's even better. They actually look like cars. They're not just squares, with circles. But it's definitely a challenge. Um, Overall, it's it's like I love that challenge. I love that experience.
Was there anything specific within Deathwish that may have pushed you to be a little bit better than what you are now? or what you were beforehand?
I mean, I just feel like every time I draw something, it's better than the last thing. So I'm always pushing myself to do better. I'm always trying to like compare myself against myself, because when like the more you do something, the better you are at it, the more efficient you are at it. So there's rarely a day I go without scribbling something. So when when Mark offered me the opportunity to work on something like this, or to work on this, obviously, I dove right in and, took that challenge and said, I want to work on it. I want it to be better than something I've drawn before. Yeah.
Okay, getting deeper a little into the Deathwish ethos here. Do the cars have names?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I
Do you see the cars being treated almost like a personality, kind of like the Trans Am and Smokey and the Bandit at all? Or will it just be mainly about the characters?
No, definitely part of my brain is treat the car like a character.
Yeah, like a whole new group of people or whatever.
Right.
Gotcha.
The first book doesn't really dive into it because it's something that evolved, right? So the second book is definitely characters talking to their cars.
Yeah.
like especially because the first book I was like, oh, all these cars are kind of pretty, right? But it's more like a demolition derby. So I probably should have, beaten them up a little bit more and that kind of thing. And like as the story will progress, characters, yeah. So I don't have any names. I don't know if Mark thought about names for them, because that would be really on his end.
Yeah.
But basically for issue 2, Mark gave me a script for pages 1 through 12. And then he said, have fun with 12 to 24. So,
dude, I love the Brooklyn ambiance. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, can you hear that?
Yeah, a little bit. It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
If this was a little earlier in the day, you would have heard sirens.
Oh, I heard it. I heard sirens, and I heard a couple other things too. So,
oh, okay.
It's all good. I
can
don't
you hear
care.
that? Can you hear cats and
A
people
little
yelling at each other?
That's so cool.
Dang it! I can shut my window. Hold on. That might be better.
Okay, I gotta ask though, is there anything else in the can as far as like anything other titles you might be working on?
With lesser known comics,
Yes.
this is my only title.
Okay.
So like I brought up before, the Condry comic, something I'm doing for the other company, and I have another title with that company as well. So I'm working on 3 titles currently, but only one with lesser known.
Gotcha. Do you feel like working on 3 titles, does it stretch you thin, or are you just good with that kind of workload?
It definitely, it's not difficult to work on this many titles, because it kind of gives me a chance to like, oh, when I'm bored with this one, I can work on that one, because they're a little bit different. And I don't like, I can't think about cars right now. I have to draw a oversized man killing somebody. Like, let me work on that, or that kind of thing. So it's nice to have options, but yeah, sometimes it's like, oh man, I have a lot to do and not a lot of time, and yeah, right now there's like always something going on. Like I mentioned before, my fiance, like we're getting married in 3 months.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks. But it's a stressful, like that's a whole thing. Like that's super stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Planning weddings and working on all that. So it's uh it's um
Hey,
so
if it makes you feel any better, man, my wife's pregnant. And we're about to hit this hot Arkansas summer. So,
oh wow, congrats.
thank you. But no, I hate. Sorry to interrupt you. It probably ruined your train of thought there.
No, it's fine. I have like ADD, so my brain is always all over the place.
So, is there a peer out there, or is there someone that you might, you know, say like, man, I really want to work with this person? Is there a person out there that ticks that box?
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot of people I want to work with, like in the professional world, and there's a lot of people just in our little community that every time I see something come up, every time I see someone do color or something, I say, oh man, I want to just kind of ink something and send it to them and see how it comes out.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I don't know, like names off the top of my head don't really pop, but uh, I mean, definitely, mostly colorists. I think would be great to work with because I only know, like I said, I only know how to do it my way,
Yeah.
and it would be nice to see someone, you know, grab my stuff and say, "Here's it." Like we see how you do it, but here's it done digitally, and look how clean it is, or look how like I want to see someone else's brain work on what I've already drawn, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So, excluding the comic book world and kind of like this kind of thing, what else is inspiring you these days?
Uh, I mean, inspiring me. Ooh. Well, I mean, I'm inspired every time I see, you know, what other people work on, like other makers, makers in general. There's people on YouTube and things that I see, uh, people that make puppets and different things like that. I'm always interested in trying something new. So, hold on. So, like, I even like tried my hand at it,
That's awesome.
you know. So it's like I'm not professional, but it's just like I want to try something new.
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
so
That's
this is
it. Looks
another.
great. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Like that's awesome.
So like again, going back to like doing the art and like doing multiple uh books, like if I'm tired of working on that, I'll just, you know, pick up something like that and say, okay, I want to try this. And seeing, you know, a lot of times it's just like watching videos or listening to people talk. You know, I'll put on like Adam Savage or something, and he'll be working in his cave, and I'll just like listen and, you know, be inspired with that kind of thing.
Yeah, that dude's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's always fun for me to see what other people are working on, and you know, like I like to, you know, try my hand at whatever I can as well. So I do cosplay and stuff. I'm always building. You know, I got a Batman outfit
That's
there, and
awesome.
that's Black Canary. That's my fiance's leather jacket. I did the patch and stuff for that. So it's like, oh yeah, let's, you know,
Let's go full tilt to this baby.
yeah, yeah, you know, It's all it's fun to it's fun to try it, whether it works or not, that's a different story.
Yes, of course. Well, man, when you're not doing this stuff and you're not doing a day job, do you have time to do anything else? Or are you just totally just working on comics and day job and good night, wife. I'll see you, or fiance, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, some days that's how it feels. Like it's all I work on. Well, I guess I'll put it this way. Um, I've been playing one video game. I've been playing Legend of Zelda since like 2006. I'm Twilight Princess. I'm still working on it. I haven't beaten it yet because I play it like maybe an hour, and then like 3 to 6 months later, I'll play another hour, and most of that hour is me trying to remember what I left off on. Oh, where was I going? Oh, it's time for bed. Oh, I just remembered. This is what I need to do. I don't have time to finish it, So, yeah, I don't. I mean, me and her love to do is go out and go outside and relax at the park, go for walks, go see a movie, that kind of thing. So I definitely have other things I do, but I don't do a lot of I feel like every time I'm doing something else, like playing a video game or watching a movie, I'm like, I could be getting work done. And she's always like, you need to relax. You need to just stop for a day, take some time, and but I think I enjoy, the constant this project onto that project onto that project.
Of course.
Yeah.
So seeing the cosplay stuff, and we're kind of talking here, I'm going to ask the inevitable question. Are you a Marvel or DC guy?
DC predominantly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So always been Green Arrow fan and Batman fan. I think growing up, besides X-Men, there was nothing else I read on the Marvel side. Like, I have a couple Captain Americas. I have a couple issues of Thor here and there, but nothing like, I don't have pretty much anything that would be like, oh, I have every issue,
Yeah.
So, but DC, it's like I have every issue of Green Lantern and Green Arrow. The Neil Adams run. I have like, and when I'm looking for things, it's like, oh, I got to fill this spot in, oh, I need this. But I do a lot of, I mean, besides DC, it's Dark Horse and Image and, whatever.
I can tell by your shirt, possibly maybe a Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah, big Star Wars fan.
Awesome.
I got that's my vest in the background too.
Before we get going on that, what was your quick thoughts on the new Batman movie, and did you see it?
I did see it. I thought it was great. I had some issues with it. My first issue was Robert Pattinson was a great Batman, but not much of a Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I understand that he's like, oh, this is my year 2 or whatever. But if I was Jim Gordon or any other detective, I would have been like, oh, you two are the same person at any moment, because of, I just don't think his character got to be Bruce as Bruce is portrayed, or should be. Like, Bruce should walk in with girls on his arms and, a big smile on his face, and you didn't see any of that. So that was like my biggest issue, because for a 3-hour movie, I want to see a little bit of both. You know, I want to see Batman and I want to see Bruce. It's just like seeing Spider-Man. You want to see Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So yeah, and that also helps with, you know, creating characters and things in movies. You want to see actors be able to play more than one character. So
No, I totally get it. Like I'll say one thing that I thought was really awesome is they played more into the world's greatest detective thing.
Oh yeah.
Instead of him just being like this ball busting superhero, like there was almost like a sprinkle of Da Vinci Code in it.
Right. And that's the best part, even though he's not very good at being a detective. Like there was like obvious things in the movie where you're like, oh, yeah, okay, going back, it's only his second year. You know, he hasn't learned to be a detective completely yet. But yeah, that's really the best part of it, where it's like, oh, he's actually looking for clues. He's not just punching people and, you know, asking questions. Yeah.
It definitely seems like Alfred's going to teach him a little bit of detective ways.
Oh yeah.
Because him doing that cipher, I was just like, well, here we go, Alfred. You know, Alfred's got your back, boy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Batmobile in that movie.
Oh my god, the bikes too. Gosh dang, get out of here with that,
man.
Woof.
And Colin Farrell as Penguin was insane. Like
it
just
was awesome.
Unbelievable.
It was cinematic as hell too. I'll
Yeah.
give it that. I'll give
yeah.
it that. And the Moon Knight-esque like batarang out of the chest thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was.
I
think
did he take a full frontal shotgun blast too?
Yeah.
I think he did.
I
Like
think
I was
so.
like, are you kidding me? Like, good Lord.
Everyone doesn't know to aim for this part of the face yet, though.
That was my biggest gripe, was I thought the cowl was too open.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, in the comics, a lot of times it is, but it goes all the way back to his jawline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
I guess for more neck movability, I'm guessing, but it was okay. I'm literally splitting frog hairs. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. Well, I know from experience that building your own cowl and expecting it to have movement in the neck is not possible. Let me grab it. I mean, you'll be able to see images of this on my Instagram or whatever, but like when I built this, I said, oh, you know what? I'll be able to move my neck. I'll just leave open spots. And come to find out, nope, you're still restricted.
You're still
and there's no easy way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah.
I guess I can see why that they did it like that, but that's awesome. How long did that take?
It took a couple days. I had to kind of figure it all out. This is based on the bombshells, DC bombshells.
Okay.
So it's like he's wearing like cargo pants, and I don't know. It's
okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Check out my Instagram if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. No, we on the show, like our monthly show, we really like that Amazovirus Batman from that run where the hazmat suit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got that hazmat suit on or whatever. This guy.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, that we talked about him on our last episode, but to transition, keeping this thing going a little bit. Yeah. What quick thoughts, what did you think of the Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, well, I
What
really like well, okay. I've never been a Boba Fett guy.
Okay.
Uh, I like him, but he was always like, oh, it's a guy dressed real cool, but he has no like actual lines or anything in the movies.
Mhm.
So it was cool to see him and see his backstory and all that. That being said, I had the there's parts of that show where I was like, it didn't feel like the grittiness of Star Wars was there
Mm.
entirely with that like biker gang and stuff.
Mhm.
Where I mean, if you're a mod, you'd think that y like all the parts and pieces that you're modifying yourself with would be used, not shiny.
Gotcha.
So part of that show, I was like, oh, I wish there was like some dirt on those bikes. I wish there was like some grittiness to what they're doing because like it's a cool idea, great, bring in a biker gang, but
Mhm.
I've never seen such a clean group of characters in the Star Wars
I've
universe.
never seen a gang with a cleaner group of bikes.
Right, right, right. Like even when you go to a bike show and people are still polishing them,
Yeah.
like these guys live in the desert. You'd think, there's gonna be,
It would have some wear on it.
yeah, wear and tear. And so it kind of brought me out of the Star Wars universe for a couple of those episodes. But overall, I love all those series. I think they're so like it's such a nice feeling to have more than just the movies.
Mhm.
Um, to be in to like expand the universe.
I
When
love the intertwining of the Mando and the Boba thing, and people were poo-pooing on Boba like, "Oh, it's got Mando and da da da." But did they not forget that in the Mandalorian season there was like 3 episodes with Boba Fett?
Right, right,
You
right.
know what I mean? The stories go together,
Yeah, you can't watch, well, I guess you could watch one without the other, but
but it doesn't. You're not
no.
gonna get any sense out of it.
Right, right. So, I mean, I'm excited for Obi-Wan. That's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, for
Uh
sure. Did you see the
so
Andor trailer today?
I didn't. I saw the box pop up on my phone. It was like, "Hey, watch this." And I was like, "What? What? I didn't know I didn't
This
know the
was
trailer was
today.
dropping."
Yes.
But that was literally like 10 minutes before I hopped on for this. So it'll be the first thing I do when I
Awesome.
get off.
You have to send me a thumbs up or thumbs down whenever you see it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Um,
love that character. That movie is probably one of my favorite movies for the
I
new
will
stuff.
I will lie. I will not lie. I'm gonna have to brush up
Oh
on
yeah.
that movie, but it's all right. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, like it seems like with this comic book stuff, like you're ratcheting up a little bit of success at least. You're getting picked up here, some comic books, and then Mark and lesser known, you guys are advancing, doing some more issues. Is there like something you might do that you contribute to this success? Do you meditate? Do you work out? Do you just sit in a room by yourself and just draw all the time? You know what I mean? Like, is there something you do that kind of helps keep you balanced and keeps you moving forward?
um well, I can't sit still long enough to meditate unless I'm working, unless I'm drawing something. So
Gotcha.
I do read. I mean, I read comic books.
Yeah.
I have a book series that I'm reading and stuff. So I do take the time to, get my half hour of, using my imagination while reading actual books, uh, which kind of helps everything. Because sometimes, like when you read comics, you're the whole point of comic books is to like see the art and be involved in the art. You don't use your imagination. You look at someone else's. So when I'm reading a book, it's like shutting down that part of your brain and using a different part of your brain to create pictures that are up there. So that's that's one of the places I go, you know. I put on music or I listen to podcasts or whatever. Usually I don't, I guess that's a form of meditation as well. I
Yeah.
think every time I listen to my music, I don't remember what the next or the last song was because I'm so involved. So I could listen to the same podcast. I could listen to the same podcast pretty much every day and only remember like small sections of it.
What are you
Where I'm
into
like,
music wise?
oh, pretty much everything except for rap. uh, uh, I'm I love um, like punk rock and ska and stuff like that. I think it's a lot of fun. That really gets me like moving. Um, when I'm working, I mean, it could be anything. It could be hair metal. It could
Yeah,
be
that's rad.
could could be heavy metal. It could be screamo or you know anything really. I have growing up. I always listened to like Irish music because it was heritage.
Hmm.
So you know, there's like the traditional Irish music, and then there's like the flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys and stuff that, it's the punk rock, but it's also Irish.
Yeah,
So, part of that is what I listen to as well. So,
that's
yeah.
that's awesome. I've got a couple more questions, and
All
this
right.
one's kind of a little deep because I know we're right at about a little over an hour, and I apologize for keeping you so
No,
long.
no.
I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to know from maybe like someone who's a writer or whatever. How would a writer approach an illustrator and be cordial about it? How if that's
uh,
kind of something that makes sense? Like, how would somebody approach an illustrator and not be so pushy?
be polite.
Yeah,
Really. Uh, I mean, I love it when people kind of just say, "Hey, I hope you have time to look at what I've written." I feel bad a lot of times because I'm like, I have a lot on my plate, you
yeah,
know. So it's great that people reach out. Um, I think most of the time, I've never had someone be like, "Hey, you need to draw this." Hey, like they're not like people aren't demanding. I mean, they're inquisitive. Is that the
okay,
word?
yeah. No,
So
that's perfect.
yeah, it's great to when people are like, "Hey, I like what you do. How do you feel about sketching some stuff for me?" Um, like I'm really kind of easygoing. I love to do art, so um it's not like a burden, or uh, I'm not like, "Oh, you need to pay me. You need to pay me for every little," it's just like,
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I'll scribble something for you, but it's, if you don't like it or whatever, like no problem. You know, I did what I could do. Like if, hopefully people um take that advice and you
No,
know,
no, that's kind of a way I guess it should be in a weird way. It's just coming from someone who's trying to write a story themselves. It's odd when you've never done something like that before.
oh yeah. I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
like just uh the worst thing that could happen is someone says no, right? Like, so whatever, like how, when you write something and you say, I think this is great. I want so and so to see it. Like, just reach out and say, hey, if you have the time, take a look at this. Let me know what you think. See if it's something that you're interested in. And 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 if someone said, hey, it's great, but it's not up my alley or whatever. I mean, most people I have found that are part of this community, they're they're all in this together. Everyone wants, like, oh, I don't have time for it, but I know so and so that would love to take a look, and maybe they don't have the time, but they'll pass you on to the next guy and the
Yeah.
next guy and the next guy. So I know that there's like so much people out there that just want to be a part of everything, and want to help out, and like there's always more artists. There's a lot of people that are just waiting for someone to ask, you know
Yeah.
because I know I was. I mean, like I said, I've been drawing the same thing for years, and then one of my friends was like, here, you know here's a script, try it out. And then it was like, oh, more people want what I have. Okay, I'm sure, like, I'm flattered. I never thought I would be, getting the offers and things like that.
I think it's awesome that you're, consistently building up towards possibly just kicking that day job out the window.
Oh, that would be amazing. I mean, my boss ain't gonna be happy, but
But you'll be happy, so
yeah, yeah, and that's, life's too short to not be happy.
exactly. Well, man, I got one last question here. What's the Memorial Day weekend plans for you?
Ooh, um, well, I will be doing wedding planning and working on art for my wedding. uh, um, I'm doing like a map of the area and things like that. Um, I don't think there's no backyard barbecues or anything, unfortunately. Sometimes I would go visit my parents, and my uncle always has a big thing, so we'd go up there. But this year, because of all the planning and everything, it's a that would be a big undertaking. So I think maybe we'll just go to, hit a barbecue place, Pig Beach or something in Brooklyn, and enjoy the weekend.
Are you off on Monday?
I am off on Monday.
Hey.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, hey, Kieran, I thank you so much, man. Seriously, thank you for coming on and dealing with me bothering you constantly about coming on the show. And
Oh no, this is great.
this is,
I really enjoyed this. I love
oh,
it.
this is an awesome thing. I can't wait to get a hold of Deathwish and read that story and learn more about Dagger and that whole universe. I think it's awesome.
Oh, thanks. I can't wait to show it off more. I'm really excited for, everyone to get their hands on it, and see what we've got in store.
Well, guys, that is it for another special edition of Epic Nerd Time. Guys, head over to Kickstarter.com, look up Lesser Known Comics batch number 4, and back this Kickstarter. I know it's fully funded, but you guys can get your hands on a copy of Deathwish. And as always, you can go to lesserknowncomics.com and use Epic Nerd 15 at checkout and save yourself some dollars. Mr. Quinn, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.